Sorry. Silly me. I almost forgot. They don't want to know you either. They want you to leave them alone too. Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well and that you had a great week. To all of my house guests, come in, make yourselves at home, make yourselves comfortable. If you're passing by and you'd like to become a house guest, don't forget to hit subscribe and activate all of your notifications. I'm Chez, this is Chez M0i. Welcome to my place. Okay guys, another interesting week. Let's get into this video. Well, we've made it to the beginning of the 5th month of 2024. Another month in which people are asking, where is Kate? Admittedly, I've not been too concerned about that because while the firm are doing their utmost best to deflect, divert and deceive with fake videos, fake photos, old photos and old stories about the Waleses, William himself doesn't seem very concerned if he's happy to be seen at various football matches while trying to convince everyone he's a devoted husband. While the future king has segued himself into part-time appearances, the current king has been more than delighted to return to royal duties under the strict supervision of his doctors. Charles was also filmed visiting cancer patients, and he was showing empathy, something that he had such disdain for when Princess Diana did the same thing decades ago during the AIDS epidemic. The difference between the two, however, is that Diana did not experience AIDS in order to put herself in the shoes of those who were suffering from that disease, whereas it has taken Charles navigating the awful journey of cancer to understand what people with similar diagnoses are going through. Ill health doesn't care about your bank account. Ill health doesn't care about your social status. Ill health doesn't care how high you are in the popularity stakes, which is why ill health will always be a great leveler. Let's go back to Kate for a few minutes. Just bear with me while I theorise as to why she may not want to be seen in public. I regularly edit photos, videos and formal documents, and I can tell you it's a very arduous, frustrating and tiring task when you're fit and well. So if Kate's supposed to be in recovery from surgery and ongoing treatment, how is she taking photos of her kids on their birthdays, supposedly? And how does she have the ability to spend hours and hours editing? If she has the energy to do all of that, I honestly think it's reasonable to ask why she is not resuming her duties. If her father-in-law can, Surely she can. Now, we fully accept that people deal with situations in different ways, and some are not as mentally resilient as others. We take into consideration that Charles's generation tends to just get on with it, rather than being too concerned about things such as physical appearance. Conversely, Kate is a woman who is very concerned about her physical appearance, especially in this digital age, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I always try to represent myself well, especially when I'm out and about. With that in mind, could one make room for the possibility that the treatment she's allegedly undergoing is causing her to lose her hair, which understandably would put her in great distress? Now, don't get me wrong, I have no particular affinity towards Kate. She does not offend me at all. I'm just indifferent. I'm not really interested in anything she does. And I think partly the reason for that is because I feel she lost her voice in that family. And perhaps that's the reason why she didn't treat Meghan well, because Meghan found her voice and she's free to use it. But I digress. If Kate is experiencing hair loss, could you imagine the powerful consequence of her sharing that experience? She did not want to share what type of cancer she has. She doesn't need to. But with millions of people going through the same thing as she is, the same demographic, I just imagine how powerful that could be. She would finally face the elephant in the room, and the speculation regarding her absence may subside. That said, I'm obviously not Kate's PR advisor, and as I stated, this is purely a theory, but one which I have never heard discussed in the context of all what's going on. But this is the only one that makes any sense to me at all. Guinness Punch. Something we used to drink with dinner every Sunday when I was a child. Those of you who grew up in a West Indian household, particularly of Jamaican parents, grandparents, you all know what I'm talking about. For those of you who are not familiar with this particular beverage, Guinness, obviously, is its base. Guinness is a stout that originated in the brewery of Arthur Guinness at St James's Gate, Dublin, Ireland in 1759. It is now owned by the British-based multinational alcoholic beverage maker Diageo. It is one of the most successful alcohol brands worldwide, brewed in almost 50 countries and available in over 120. Dublin, Ireland. A place Meghan had visited well before she met Harry, and where she revealed she has Irish paternal ancestry. Guinness is something I missed when I left home, but was reacquainted with it years later through my former husband, who introduced me to the Nigerian version. Funnily enough, as well as an Irish connection, Meghan also has a Nigerian connection through her maternal ancestry, which, as many of you may remember, she disclosed on her Archetypes podcast. Therefore, it would make perfect sense for her to accompany Harry on their upcoming trip. This article is from cbsnews.com, published on the 29th of April 2024, and the headline reads, Prince Harry and Meghan to visit Nigeria to talk Invictor Games. Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, will travel to Nigeria in May for meetings about the Invictus Games, the sporting event for military personnel wounded in action that Harry founded 10 years ago. A Sunday statement from Brigadier General Tukur Gusau, a spokesperson for Nigeria's military, confirmed the upcoming visit and said Harry and Meghan would meet service members and participate in a variety of cultural activities. The statement did not say exactly when the couple were expected to arrive in the African nation. Harry has long said Africa is close to his heart. He and his brother William, the Prince of Wales, have visited regularly since first being taken as children by their father, now King Charles III, and their late mother, Princess Diana. The couple's trip is likely to come not long before or after Harry's return to London for a May 8th Thanksgiving service to mark the 10th anniversary of the Invictor Games Foundation. It will be his first trip to the UK since he paid a fleeting visit to see his father in February after the King's cancer diagnosis was revealed. Harry will attend the event in London without the Duchess, as she and the couple's children will not join him in the UK for this visit. The couple's trip to Nigeria, which participated in last year's Games, will consolidate Nigeria's stronghold at the Games and the possibility of hosting the event in later years, Gasal said. However, the psychologically challenged members of the UK tabloid media feign offence and disgust at Meghan not accompanying Harry to London next week. Also on Invictus Business, while making it simultaneously crystal clear that she is not welcome on these British Isles. Interestingly, on the subject of Nigeria, there was a programme that started a few weeks ago on Channel 5, and it's a documentary of Michael Palin travelling around Nigeria. And there was one particular episode, I think it was the first episode, and I just want to play you this clip because it was interesting to hear Michael Palin's perspective.
There you go, there you go. Okay.
Aduke Gomez is a local writer and historian of the slave trade.
And now we have to go on a little boat across the water to that island of Berefu, and from there we'll walk to the point of no return.
Oh, I see. That's an island over there, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Not this boat.
No, not this boat. This blue one here.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
Yeah. We're walking to a beach known as the Point of No Return, the place where thousands of captured men and women would be taken before boarding the waiting slave ships.
They had no idea.
They had no idea where they were going.
They had no idea.
Or probably why they were going.
To have gotten to this point, generally they would already have been captured for days, if not months.
Yeah. They'd have had minimum food and water.
Just enough. A minimum to keep them alive.
Yes. Transatlantic slavery from Africa began in the mid-15th century, growing in scale as plantations in the Americas demanded huge numbers of workers, over 3 million of whom came from what is now Nigeria.
I imagine that they would have been completely petrified. They've been beaten, starved, probably assaulted in various ways.
As your great-great-grandfather would have gone through all that.
Yes.
That's in your blood, really, isn't it?
Yes, it is. The very first time I came here, truly, I really felt, how must it have been like? I mean, trauma, I don't think it even begins to actually explain it.
Halfway across the island, Aduke brings me to an old water well.
This was the last spot where they could drink water. So, as you see, it's the well of attenuation, it's the well of reducing the spirit of the slave. Now, the traditions around it are that if you drank from this well, you would forget who you are. So your spirit would be removed. Now, whether it is a tradition, whether the enslavers put some kind of potion in the water, we'll never know. But this is the final step of removing any humanity. Because for me, for the slave trade to be as successful as it was, you had to look at the people you were enslaving as not human.
Yeah.
If not, there's no way you could have done it.
Hearing the sound of waves crashing on the beach, I start to appreciate how terrifying this place must have been for the prisoners, many of whom would never have seen the ocean before.
And here we have the Atlantic.
This is the point of no return.
This is the point of no return.
Wow. Gigantic. As we look out across the ocean, the idea of thousands of men and women being taken from their homes and families, then sent across the Atlantic in barbaric conditions, feels all too real.
The ship would have been further out, and then they would have had little boats.
Ooh. What is difficult about all of this is that many of the slave ships moored right here would have been British. And Britain, the country I've lived in my whole life, led and profited from the slave trade for hundreds of years. The fact is that the British were the main proponents of the slave trade.
Yes, starting from 1672, when the Royal African Company was formed, with the brother of the king at the time, who was the Duke of York, as one of the...
So it was right from the top.
It was right from the top. And that's where cities like Bristol and Liverpool came to prominence.
And the big banks, a lot of
and
them,
the big banks as well.
Grew up in the 1690s.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
From the slave trade. Slavery brought about racism. And so as a black country, it's harder and harder to prove yourself as well.
Britain would outlaw slavery in 1807, but it continued in Nigeria for far longer, destroying communities and many say holding back the development of the country for centuries. It's quite a strange sensation being here on this very beach, knowing what I now know, where so many thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of slaves left chained up for the Americas, and to know that the major trading company in slaves was British, and that I'm British, it begins to swim into focus how horrendous the whole business really was. And, you know, what I've learned today and what I've seen today makes me feel, well, at the very least, uncomfortable, despite being on one of the most beautiful beaches in the world. Horrible things happen here. So no getting away from it.
So the fact that Nigeria is welcoming Harry and Meghan with open arms. It really does make me smile, because we all know that that invitation will never be extended to any other members of the British royal family. This alone underscores the fact that the firm, so full of pride, would rather watch the royal family, the royal institution, over 1,000 years of tradition crumble away before our very eyes, rather than admit that this woman of colour would have bridged the gap and brought the monarchy well into the 21st century. It kills them to do that, but they shot themselves in the foot, because things can never go back to how they were. The Invictus Foundation has also announced the 2 bids from Washington DC and Birmingham, UK for Invictus 2027. Please, Washington DC, please be successful. So guys, get used to more diversionary tactics being employed by the tabloids as they struggle to source fresh new material and continue to fix their gaze squarely on Harry and Meghan rather than other family members.
Oh, come on, Richard. That's only because the paparazzi aren't interested in trailing Sophie of Wessex around, because it doesn't sell newspapers, and you know it as well as I know it. You can't say Meghan compared to Sophie. It's like comparing a Ford Fiesta with a Lamborghini. I mean, the two, forgive me, Sophie's a good egg. And you know, the royal family needs, you know, good, hardworking, loyal people. But Meghan has star quality, which is why we keep talking about her, and we keep coming back to Meghan. Because let's face it, we all miss her a bit.
It would appear, UK tabloid media, that you still don't get it. You refuse to get it. You need to be reminded yet again that Harry and Meghan took all of their power away from you when they departed these shores, releasing themselves from the confines, from the restrictions of the royal rota. And I get it, you're mad, you're angry. But you would be well advised to refocus your attention on the future King and Queen, the future of the... sorry, silly me, I almost forgot. They don't want to know you either. They want you to leave them alone too. And this is why many of you have had to look for other sources of employment. But you won't learn. You're not going to listen. Guys, if your thoughts were provoked in any way, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet become a house guest, don't forget to hit subscribe and activate all of your notifications. I want to take this opportunity to thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and you shall catch me in the next video.